guys, it's Nurse J at Nursing the Truth, and I hope everyone is having a great day. Well, Nurse J is feeling a tad bit better, and I think I'm going to work tomorrow. So, there again with God Thoth, God Anubis, Goddess Bastet, my amethyst, and my tiger's eye at my table here. I think we're going to deliver you a great study. Now, along with my incense, and I did my meditation. So hopefully you will enjoy this. Thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you for the wonderful comments of my subscribers. And I hope that I'm delivering messages back to you appropriately and on a timely fashion. And thank you for putting topics out there that I can research and study and bring forward for you. And I want to be completely honest. We can always help each other. The truth-seeking community can put things together and get different things from other people and not just say that one person has all the answers, because there is no 100% absolute truth. What you perceive is your own truth. So let's just say all the truth seekers out there that subscribe to my channel, we can all take bits and pieces. Even Nurse J takes bits and pieces from people, because if we're all going to serve in this community, we all have to have bits and pieces to help each other out. One person might talk about a topic, and then another person will talk about the same topic. They're on the same line, but each of them found different things. So let's just be friendly and nice. And also on my channel, if you have put negative comments on my channel, I'm not going to respond, because I give you videos. I tell you how I got them, the information. I break it down in very simple terms. I am not going to put my positive energy into a negative comment to where I can get a negative vibe, a negative feel, and feel terrible afterwards, to where it's going to make me angry. I don't want any of that influencing me or taking hold of me. So there again, I will not answer you. I will just block you or remove the comment. So with that being said, what I'm going to bring to you today is some facts about Genesis chapter 10, the generations of Noah and his son. So let's get the Bible, King James Version as always, because they say that King James is the best version. So, and we know that this Noah name was made up because if you go back, as I've been telling you, the Sumerian list and the Berosus list of Babylon, it gives you the very first name, Azuasundra, Atrahasis, Unitapitchum, and then Noah. Know your history. So this is just an overview. Now, am I taking this Noah character to heart? No, I'm not. So, in chapter 10 it says, "Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood." Okay. So, you have Shem, Ham, and Japheth. We're told their mom and daddy, Noah and his wife, and their wives. And they survived the flood. Well, then after the flood, they had sons born unto them. Now, we have a problem with that creation story. And I'm going to have to break it down very simple for you. You might need a pen and paper because these are some dates I'm going to give you. And you can look this up. Now, they want to tell us, or the people and the players that are in charge of this want to tell us that the creation story was in 4004 BCE. Okay, so let's do the chronology of this information. And this also has to do with Egypt, as usual. So, get your pen and put down creation story, the Hebrew version, 4004 BCE. Put that they're timing these great pyramids built in 2550 BCE. And then put Nanshi, Urnanshe, which is the first king assumer. Okay? At 2520. And that was found in the Britannica.com. Now, from what they say that these children and what their years were, Shem, 2441 BCE, Ham, 2440 BCE, and Japheth, 2444 BCE. Don't you love these fours? And Ham's son, Cush, was born in 2342 BCE. So, where I'm going with this is that you have these sons, and then after they get off the ark, they go spread out and they do their deal. Well, we have one problem right off the bat. If the creation story was calculated at 4004 BCE, the AM date for the flood is a negative 1656. And they're calculating the BC date for the flood of 2348. So, if the Hebrew people are saying, or the players are saying that the date for the flood was 2348, then that creates another problem. Because if the Great Pyramids of Giza was built in 2550, and the flood was 2348, they're still standing. Does it look like any flood took the pyramids away and washed them ashore? Because in the Bible it says there was total destruction. Scholars of today say that those pyramids are more than that. Could be past 10,500 years or even longer. That's one problem. If the first king assumer, praise God, that there is a cuneiform tablets that were found with the king's list before the flood and after the flood. It's your real punk. So you have this king that reigned in 2520. And the flood happened in 2348. Now, people cannot seem to get with the program on these dates. Now, James Ushers, which was a archbishop, go figure, he come out to the conclusion that it was 4004 for the creation story. Now, the Hebrew calendar since the 4th century AD by Hillel II, he wanted to quote it at 3761 BCE. Then the Septuagint creation date was 5509 BCE. Then the Chronicon of Eusebius, the crooked ass bishop of Constantine, his creation was 5228 BCE. Now, the Masoretic creation, or the Masoretic texts, they kept 4004 BCE, the most accepted and popular, mainly because this specific date was attached to, praise God, the King James Bible. And the King James Version of the Bible was given to Queen Elizabeth for the Protestant people. Now, getting into some Egyptian facts, what I like to do the most. There is a king's list. In Abydos. It's an Abydos king's list, and it's of 76 kings listed over a 2,000 years of continuous rule in Egypt and Nubia. It's uninterrupted. And it goes from King Pharaoh Narmer between the years of 3150 BCE or 3200 BCE all the way down to Seti I. Because where Seti I was in Abydos, Osiris's tomb is there. And Seti ended at 1200. Well, this was the chronological order from 32 to 1200 BCE. 76 kings, uninterrupted, at the Abydos king's list, and it is chiseled in stone. Chiseled in stone. So, if the flood happened at 2348, then how could they chisel in the stone at the list of the pharaohs uninterrupted? You see, 2,000 years. And if there was a flood and destroyed everybody, and there was no one to rule, then how come there's an uninterrupted list? You see, Egyptians were smart. They chiseled in their documentation. So that's a lie as well. Now, Now, let's go to the scriptures. And let's look at these sons. Because this is where you're going to get the meat of the matter. I just had to give you a backdrop about the years, the pyramids, and the king's list. And I gave you the birth dates of these little boys. Now, but I'm really going to focus on Cush, because that's really the problem. Let's go to verse 7. Genesis 10, verse 7. And the sons of Cush, Seba, Havilah, Sabta, and Ramah, and Septicha, and the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, Akkad, Calneh, in the land of Shinar. Shinar is Babylon, or Babylonia. Out of that land went forth Ashur, Assyria, and builded Nineveh, King Ashurbanipal, and the city of Rehoboth, and Calah, and risen between Nineveh and Calneh, the same as a great city. And Mizraim begat Ludim, Anamim, and Lehabim, and Naphtuhim, and Pathrusim, and Cassilum, out of whom came Philistium, and Captorim. And Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn in Heth, and the Jebusites, Amorites, Girgashites, Hivites, Archites, Sinite, and the Arvadite, and the Zemarite, and the Haparite, and afterward were the family of the Canaanites spread abroad. And the border of the Canaanites were from Sidon, as thou comest to Gegar, unto Gaza, as thou goest into Sodom and Gomorrah, and Admah and Zeboim, even unto Lasha. These are the sons of Ham, and their families, after their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations. So, Cush is Ethiopia. Break it down. Put is Somalia, Sudan. Canaan, modern day Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Israel, better known as Phoenicians. See, Phoenicians were Canaanites, but not all Canaanites were Phoenicians. And Mizraim was Egypt. You're going, Nurse Jane, what are you dilly-dallying around for? Get to it. We are on the edge. Well, truth seekers, I can't even stand it. I'm on edge. Because after reading this for years and years and years and years, it never dawned on me until I came across some other things. Nimrod, the great and mighty hunter. The son, the bloodline, the Cush and Ham family. Over Chaldea, Assyria, Babylonia, Sumer, Well, my friends, Egypt comes out of ancient Nubia. And there's a book called African Kingdoms of the Past by Kenny Mann. And he is a white scholar. And during his scholarship of Nubia, Ethiopia, and the Sudan regions, when you look at the bottom part of Egypt, you see how it goes down? It started from the bottom, and the civilizations worked its way up to the delta. Ethiopia and Nubia is older than Egypt. So this is what the Caucasian white man said, scholar. 10,000 BCE, the earliest cultivation of grains along the Nile. Stop right there. Stop. So, wait a minute, God. I thought you had a problem with the creation story. You told your people to write down that you created the world in 4004? What? 10,000 BCE? There was earliest cultivation of grains? to 4,000 BCE, earliest permanent settlements along the Nile. Well, that trumps that. (3800 BCE), possibly founding in Nubia of the earliest known monarchy. Yes, truth seekers, there are pyramids all up and down that country, under the sand even to this day, and they have found monuments of the earliest monarchy. 3500 to 2800 BCE, a group in Lower Nubia. There was already a group forming. 3500, formation of kingdoms of Upper and Lower Egypt were formed. 3100, Menes or King Narmer unites Upper and Lower Egypt. And y'all, I am not being racist here. I am just giving you historical facts. I challenge you to go to Wikipedia or Britannica or Encyclopedia and look up King Narmer, Narmer, and he is a black man. I don't care what you say, he has the features. Okay? And that is true. The wider noses, the higher cheekbones, the more thicker lips. He is not Caucasian. Look it up. But the funny thing about it is the nose is chiseled off. I wonder why. And if you look at all the statues, especially in Egypt, they like to chisel the nose. Even the Sphinx. Do you see? Now, it's even going to get better. In the People's Encyclopedia, it says, the name of Cush was derived from Egypt. To the Egyptians, Cush denoted the district south of the first cataract, inhabited for the most part by races of Nubian origin. Cush was the Ethiopian of the classical geographers, and in the Tel Amarna tablets they were called Cushi. In the latter Assyrian inscriptions, the name is written Cushi, and it is this form of the name which we find in the Old Testament. And in the Old Testament, the name has a much wider significance than it had either in Egypt or in Assyria. It embraces not only the African cache of the Egyptian monuments, but also the southern coast of Arabia. Oh, so you mean, Nurse J, this territory, this kingdom even went down that far? Yes. Yes, it did. Now, Ethiopia in Hebrew is called Cush, Koosh. And it's called the country of burnt faces, swarthy and black, lying to the south of Egypt, corresponding to what is now called the Sudan, the country of blacks. It was known to the Hebrews in Isaiah 18:1, 45:14, Zephaniah 3:10. The name Cush is found in the Egyptian Kesh, Keesh, evidently applied to the same territory. In one passage in the description of the Garden of Eden, an Asiatic Cush or Ethiopian must be intended. In Genesis 2:13, how the rivers, there was 4 rivers that came out of Ethiopia into Assyria, Havilah, Pishon, Gishon. Egypt started in Memphis in the Delta Nile because the triad, the Trinity, Ptah, Nefertum, Amhotep, Enki, Memphis. Cush, the son of Ham, that represented the Ethiopian African black race. The Ethiopians were the bringers of all civilizations in Asia. This is why Judaism, Christianity, and Islam speak of Nimrod as an evil tyrant. You see, Ham built the sons of Ham. Let's go back to Genesis 10. Yes, the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan. Ham. So the sons of Ham built the great pyramids. Black. Did you know that? Ham was born in 2440 BCE. You know, it's kind of a shame because if by what we have. And you know what we've been taught in Bible and church. That Shem and Japheth had to take a sheet and cover their father because Ham saw his daddy naked. But he said, curse Canaan. Why didn't you curse Ham? Why did you have to curse your son's son, which is your grandson? Now, something isn't even right about that. Think about it, truth seekers. If we've been told that Ham was black, and then we read the stories on that the curse of Ham and Canaan because he was black. We're going to believe the story of Noah and his wife. I'm sorry, folks, but you can't have 3 different baby colors out of one womb. Can you? I mean, unless there's a possibility you had sex with 3 different men at the same time or 3 different times within that period of ovulation, and then each egg gets fertilized by a different man's color. Because you could drop 3 eggs at one time. Now, the likelihood of that, except for invert true fertilization, of course. Now, I do know physiologically and nurse-wise that a black person can be albino. I went to school with one that had red eyes. She had the features of the nose and the lips, but was white, like really white, and had red eyes. And blonde hair. So, are you going to tell me that off the little boat they went and there were 3 colors? Could not have been. So now we get back to the point of Ham. So Ham is black. His sons are black. He has a black Cush, black Mizraim, black Put, and black Canaan. Those are the places that were black, per se. But it even goes much further. They want to tell us that Assyria, Babylon, Akkad is Semitic. But it tells you in Scripture that Cush, the black race of Ham, begat Nimrod, and he was a mighty warrior. And at the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and that is Babylonia. And Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh into the land of Shinar. And out of that land went forth Ashur, Assyria, and built Nineveh, and the city of Rehoboth and Calneh, and Rezin between Nineveh and Calneh. The same is a great city. Assyria, Iraq, Babylon. How do you like it? You like it in school today? I like teaching though. And then you go down to all the Canaanites. Because little Canaan got cursed by Grandpa. Now, Grandpa, if you curse little Canaan and he's black, Noah, aren't you supposed to be black too? But now we have a bigger problem. The Canaanites all get slaughtered in this book of Joshua. Isn't it funny how the writers are slaying the Canaanites that were black? And they are from Japheth, that is European, supposedly. And Shem. Now, it's funny how if you go to verse 11, which is the black Nimrod from Cush, and it says, went forth Ashur and builded Nineveh. And I just saw this. But the children of Shem, and verse 22 says, and the children of Shem, Elam, and Asher, and Arphax, and Lud, and Aram. How can you, Shem, be white and come from Asher when Cush, the black man of Ham, went forth to Asher and buildeth Nineveh? That is from Sargon, Sennacherib, Ashurbanipal. Don't tell me I don't know my kings, buddy. So, that presents another problem. If you have Nimrod that was over Assyria and Babylon and Chaldea of Ur, then your Abraham was a black man. Can you handle that today? Or are you going to take the little biblical story? Also, too, there's something I want you to think about. What if this white race of Japheth went cruising on this ark and landed on Mount Ararat? Let's go to chapter 11, verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Excuse me. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Well, wouldn't it be more likely that they would land at Ararat and build cities there? Why would they have to go all the way up into Turkey and come all the way down to build into that territory of Babel, Ashur, Egypt, Nubia, Ethiopian, the Delta? be more likely that they would do that. Why would they trickle down? So you see, none of this makes sense. You have the pyramids were built in 2550. They're saying that the flood happened in 2348. The pyramids were already there by Ham, which is the black race. Then you have the King's List. 76 King's List uninterrupted. Over 2,000 years. That wasn't washed away. That kept on going and going and going and going like the Energized Bunny. Then you have the Masoretic creation of 4004 when God said the world was created. And James Ussher, which was an archbishop, calculated that. And it was very popular and well liked. And it was attached to the King James Bible. Egypt comes out of ancient Nubia and Ethiopia. And if the creation story that they gave us is 4004 BCE, then why is 10,000 BCE the earliest cultivation of grains along the Nile? And then, last but not least, the Hebrews said that they were called the country of blacks. And it was known to the Hebrews. You can go from black to white, but you can't go white to black. Blacks cover every color on the spectrum. And we know that Cush was a son of Ham, and Cush was Ethiopia. Then Cush begat Nimrod. Ethiopia begat Nimrod, and he began to build a mighty city. And he had a kingdom of Babel, Erech, Akkad, Calneh. And out of that land went forth Ashur and builded Nineveh. He was out of Babylon, Ur of Chaldees, and Abraham, our father, should have been a black man. So until next time, I hope you have really enjoyed this eye-opener. Search the scriptures, people. Learn to like it or learn to love it. Your choice. But as always, search for the truth and let the truth set you free, my friends. Hotep. We'll see you later.